It's a war that's cost 21 Australian lives, and for the first time, Australia's involvement in Afghanistan will be officially debated in the federal parliament. This afternoon, the Prime Minister will address the House of Representatives, followed by the opposition leader. They'll both argue the case for war effort. And while the government and the coalition support Australia's role in Afghanistan, the Greens and Independents will use the debate to call for an immediate withdrawal. Liv Casbin reports from Canberra.
For nearly a decade, Australian forces have been on the ground fighting the insurgency in Afghanistan. Now, for the first time, the war there will be formally debated in Parliament.
I certainly hope that the members of federal Parliament can do as good a job winning the hearts and minds of Australians for this mission as our soldiers are doing in Afghanistan, and I think that's our challenge.
The Prime Minister will argue the case that the war is in Australia's national interest, and the government acknowledges there were problems with the initial strategy.
I think it took us too long, and when I say us, I mean the international community generally, too long to really get down to define what we had to achieve, what risks we were trying to offset or stare down. I think we've now got that strategy.
But there isn't unanimous support in the Parliament for the war. The Greens insisted on the debate as part of the deal struck with the Prime Minister to form government.
We believe our troops should be withdrawn safely as soon as possible. As the Netherlands troops have been withdrawn, Canada's coming out next year, Britain will be shortly after that, and yet we have no fixed timetable or exit strategy.
And now the former Foreign Minister Alexander Dana has his doubts about the current strategy and says the Taliban need to be brought into the negotiating process. In an article titled Our Messy War, he wrote, "The initial military aims in Afghanistan have been achieved. Now is the time for diplomacy and political negotiations." In the Parliament, MPs are questioning whether this war is winnable.
If the definition of winning the war is to have a Western democracy in place, yes, I think it's unwinnable. That's an unrealistic objective.
It is unwinnable. There will need to be a political solution in Afghanistan, and I think most credible commentators and even politicians overseas are talking about the need for a negotiated settlement.
21 Australian soldiers have been killed in the conflict, but calls to boost the level of support to troops have been rejected by the Defence Force Chief.
Australia does not need to deploy all required capabilities. As we contribute to a coalition, so too do we benefit from its combined resources.
While government and coalition MPs are expected to toe the party line, some are considering speaking out and want to use the debate to question how long Australian troops will be in Afghanistan. Liv Casbin, ABC News, Canberra.